I think I'm saying that we struggle all our lives to answer it. But it's the struggle that is important. That's what helps us to define our place in the universe.
This is Beverly, Dr. Beverly, Dr. Beverly Crusher.
Look where we are. Here, all of us, in this moment. So let's do what we spent our entire lives learning to be great at.
And this is Crusher Convo. And welcome to Crusher Convo. We're crushing the conversation one episode at a time. And I am here to review Starfleet Academy's episode 7, Ko-Zeine. Again, guys, if you have not yet seen this episode, please turn back now because there will be spoilers.
Spoilers.
First off, I kind of want to mention this whole All Worlds Day thing. I'm not sure if that was mentioned in Discovery or not. I have no idea what it was. And I just kind of figured it's spring break, right? So everyone's off to go to their different areas. I mean, Sam was headed over to Denver, which I thought was kind of funny, to do like a hologram spa so she can help regenerate in a sense of just the fact that she's still kind of glitchy, and that made Genesis nervous. And then of course Kyle and Jaden were going to Ibiza. All right. Genesis is supposed to see her father over in Mumbai, and then I believe Caleb is about to go to Dakar with a host family. And I'm not really sure if Darem was mentioned, but obviously Darem went home unexpectedly to get married.
Tell me what I need to know.
Your break starts now, Caleb. Go to Dakar. Dakar is magnificent. Your host family will be thrilled.
I'm not going to Dakar. I'm staying here. You can't close the bag. You need to take something out.
It absolutely will close. It always closes.
You've got like 4 pairs of boots in here. You don't even wear shoes.
You can't stay. The academy is going to be locked down.
Well, I'm not going anywhere just to watch a bunch of strangers celebrating being together so that you can pretend that I have a family.
Absolutely laughed my head off when he said, there's 4 pairs of boots in here and you don't even wear shoes. Thought that was hilarious. And she's totally Lanthanite mode, right? Overstuffing, over-bringing, over everything, and she can't even shut her suitcase. I like this moment between Caleb and Nala because she's just wanting him to enjoy and do things. And yeah, he kind of has a point where he's like, you're just wanting me to pretend I have a family when I don't. I was kind of surprised, though, why they weren't hanging out together. Why did she get a host family for Caleb when technically he could have been with her, right? So that was a little, maybe a nitpick of mine, I guess I would say. But, I mean, it wasn't anything horrible. And obviously he convinced her that he's like, I'm not going to a host family. I'm just going to stay here. Reno is walking around. I'll be fine. And she allows it. And he literally, that's all he wanted to do. You see him later just suntanning in the freaking Arboretum or whatever it is and just hanging out over there, right? So it was just funny of this little moment that they were having with each other, growing closer, as I've been mentioning, over this course of the season, which is going to be interesting at the end of the season. But like I said, everyone is going out on their different areas and stuff. But of course, Genesis decided to come back. Now, as we know, she is going to be on the pre-command track, which everyone calls it the captain's track, and she was super stoked. I didn't notice at first until my second round of watching this that she didn't look excited when Nala had mentioned about references in her application and all that. So looking back, I was like, okay, there's the clue on, or it should have been a clue for me to notice why she did all these things with Caleb. So that was an interesting little moment and very subtle that I don't think all of us really even realized.
Say that?
Intruder!
Stop, don't hurt him.
Declare yourself.
I declare only that it is a good day to die.
No one's dying. He's my Ko-Zeine.
I am what?
Ko-Zeine. It's like best man.
Best man?
So of course, Jaden's supposed to be going with Kyle to Ibiza, but he sees Darem get kidnapped, or what he thought was being kidnapped, which technically they were. But here's this moment where he's going in to rescue his friend, or maybe more, and he comes in with this rock. And what was funny, my husband has declared his favorite character, and it's Jaden. Okay, he's like, I really love this Klingon, and I was like, I do too. Now, of course, Laura Thok is still my favorite so far on Academy, because it's really hard for me to choose between the cadets. I want to say that maybe Darem and Caleb are kind of on the bottom of the pack. Not that their characters aren't interesting, not that their stories aren't interesting, but there's something about Genesis, Sam, and Jaden that I just enjoy watching a lot. Again, no diss to the other guys, but there's a list. There's a list going on here. But here's this moment where all of a sudden he's like, I'm what? I'm your best man? What the fuck is going on? So I really enjoyed this. But yeah, I guess this was the A plot. I mean, this is the title of the episode, Ko-Zeine. I wasn't that interested in it. It wasn't that it wasn't interesting. I did enjoy the story. I enjoyed the acting. I really enjoyed certain scenes. But I found Genesis, the B plot, more interesting than Darem's. And I don't know if it's just because we were thrown into it and we just didn't understand it. Now, I guess we've done that before. I mean, no one knew Spock was married, until all of a sudden he was thrown in to do that whole death fight, whatever. It just was like, okay, I think it was great between Jaden and Darem. I think those were great scenes. I think those were great moments. But story-wise, it just fell flat to me. I did feel sorry for Kara, which we'll talk more about later. But because clearly you could see that she loves him. You can clearly see Darem loves her as well. This just wasn't the path that he wanted to be on.
We're inherited. And then you just start to wonder if people have been handing you victories just because they recognize those footsteps.
Who cares?
I care. And you have no idea how hard I try to make it look like I don't. I need to know if I belong on that track. Or if the only seat I'll ever feel comfortable in is his.
Now, this is why I'm interested in Genesis's story, because, again, should have noticed in the beginning of her, bugging Caleb and like, let's play this game, let's do this, whatever, having a hidden agenda this entire time. Though he did say, I had a feeling and I was trying to ignore it, but I should have gone with my gut, just like Nala should have gone with her gut last episode. I really loved the line where she had mentioned, the one thing about saying you're following in someone else's footsteps is that they're their footsteps. They're not your own. Loved it. Not sure who wrote this episode, but that was brilliant. And this is such a good, where she's trying to figure out who she is, because she's like, am I just comfortable in the chair or want to be in the chair because it's his chair? Or do I want my own? And this is kind of her reason of why she wants to sit in the captain's chair on the bridge. I totally bought it. I thought this is absolutely makes sense. Not realizing she was trying to steal something from the bridge. This was a great bonding moment between Caleb and Genesis. I'm not really sure if they're kind of hinting that they like each other, but I feel that there's more of a brother-sister relationship here. I think, again, Caleb even opened up to Genesis about how hard it was for him to try and talk to Tarima because she saw things about him that he never wanted people to see. But then he feels like that maybe he did let her in because he wanted to feel seen. He wanted to feel comfortable for someone because he's been alone for so long. And he's telling all this to Genesis. And this is another moment where he's also opening up to Genesis as a good friend. And so again, I really enjoyed this bonding moment and them doing this together and then him having fun, all of that stuff. And of course, we see, Reno just kind of walking around. That whole Laura freaking out that she stubbed her toe thinking she was going to die was hilarious. And, it's just this dynamic that we're just, I don't want to say not used to in Star Trek, but there's certain dynamics that really stick out, and I think this is one of them. And I'm excited to see where this friendship and this family, is going to go. I've said this before. I think the big red bow gift that Noose was talking about is going to be Caleb's mom. I feel that she is working with him, and Caleb is going to have to choose. And I feel like he's going to have to choose between his now family, which is the cadets, and Genesis, and Darem, and Jaden, and Sam, and Tarima, and Nala, or his mom. And I think this is going to be a huge slap in the face for him in a sense, because he was always alone and all he focused on was finding his mom. And now he has more people to care about who care about him and who he is. And this is just going to be a catalyst at the end.
In service of something greater than himself. To put others first. When called by the moment, by his family, his planet, or his partner, Darem will ultimately choose to put himself aside and favor another's needs above his own.
Jaden is not stupid, okay? He did this on purpose. Now, I thought it was a total slap in the face when Darem and Jaden were having that moment. You know, he had his the family jacket and everything, and Jaden was getting cold, and they were talking, and Jaden was like, "Why are you doing this? This is not what you want to do." And Darem threw in his face. He's all like, "Well, unlike you, I stick with family. You cut and run." Darem, I know we're having an emotional outburst here. Jaden didn't cut and run, okay? They left him, right? So his brother died. His family cut and run. His family left him to make sure that Jaden went and did the things that he was supposed to. Wasn't Jaden's decision. So that was didn't like that very much. And even Jaden was holding his anger a little bit, his little Klingon anger with that little growl. And he's like, you know what? F you. Have fun. Peace out. But he did stay and did this wonderful speech with no sweating, which is great, to let Kara know, like, just listen and understand that Darem is doing this for you and not for himself. And when she did ask him later, like, let's get annulled, we're done, it's because she loves Darem. She wants Darem to go and do the life that he wants, but she was right to be upset because she was like, you were about to start a life together on a lie. Darem's intentions were pure. He was wanting to take care of Kara. He was still trying to please his parents. He was trying to please his people, which I feel like that's all Darem has ever done. And that's why the Starfleet going into Academy was so important to him, because it was something that he wanted to do and he was doing it for himself, which Kara was 100% supportive about. And I absolutely loved these two together. But their parents, of course, still kind of have that upper hand with them. And so that's where it kind of threw a curveball, unfortunately, for them to be not sealed later. And so now she had to make the sacrifice of like, well, now I'm going to rule as alone, as a woman, which she'll be do fine. And I know Darren was like, you got this. But it was against culture. And so there was just a lot happening here. But I loved Kara just being like, you go do you. Don't do it for me. Don't do it because you love me. Don't do it for our parents. You go enjoy your life. Now, granted, in 5 or 6 years, if he's like, I still love you and they want to get married, great. He totally has that, and she might even allow it unless she finds somebody else. He needs to figure out who he is. And Jaden knew she would do that for him. She would make the decision for him. She would push him to make that decision. And so Jaden was so smart to use his speech to basically help Darem and Kara to understand where this was leading.
People who ran. I've spent my whole life running from things. I don't want to run anymore. Anyway, I really hope you're okay.
Message sent.
One by one, we watch the stars.
Okay, so we figure out they go on the bridge. Genesis is trying to steal some device, and Caleb was like, I knew it. I knew I shouldn't trust you. But he was all like, you're getting me involved. I'm about to be court-martialed for all this because I'm trying to do a favor for you, thinking that it was pure, and it's not. And so he was pissed, and he had every right to be pissed, but he was just like, why is this so important? And the thing is that, and I kept saying when I was watching this, I'm like, she's going to throw away her whole pre-command track. And she did. She got in trouble and she lost it. This was a moment for Caleb to be like, stop trying to please other people. And I think was a really good parallel between Genesis and Darem, where they just kept trying to please other people. Genesis was trying to figure out who she was, right? And she felt that those references, basically talked about who she was when she felt like that wasn't who she was. And Nella was like, but that's not how it works, And with Darem, he was putting aside who he was in order to please other people, and that's not how it works. And so that was a nice parallel between those two stories. But like I said, Genesis was just a notch higher than Darem's, and she blew it. She absolutely blew it. And she got Caleb in trouble. Now they're going to be in 200 hours of menial labor, and it just blew up in her face because not only did she didn't get expelled, kudos, but she lost what she was fighting for because she was not thinking straight about what it meant to be in command, what it meant to be captain. Nala is smart in the sense that you are going to learn from this moment. I'll put you on the pre-command track later when you're ready. Clearly, you're not ready yet. And as much as we've seen, and I know Lori has mentioned this in Trek Movie, we've seen Genesis, like Nala said in the beginning, cool-headed, understood the assignment, like she just knew what to do. But there's clearly a lot deep down that she needs to take care of before she can even handle her own command. They all do. That's the whole point of the academy. They all have to go through their journeys at some point, and they all have to get up there before they can go ahead and lead or wherever that they're planning on doing, like Jaden is going into medicine. That's the coming of age story that we're watching right now. And that's what's nice. All of our favorite characters that we've grown up with Star Trek all had a coming of age story. Beverly had a coming of age. Picard, Sisko, Janeway, everyone, even the Doctor has a coming of age story, and he's a hologram, right? So 7 to 9, still best story arc ever on Star Trek. I will die on that hill. But this is a moment for these cadets. We're seeing them at the bottom, and we're going to see them rise to the top. And if this series does go on 5 seasons, like all the other shows have, we are going to see such a change from start to finish, especially for Caleb. But it's wonderful to see where they're headed.
By tricorder.
So I got a total of 6 votes when it came to the tricorder rating, and it was 5 pre-commands track, which was 17%, 4 warp slugs, which was 50%, 3 royal sailing mantles, which was that jacket, 33%, and 0 for 1 to 2 arranged marriages. This is probably my least favorite episode of the season. Again, not that it's bad. I just feel like it was not up to par to a lot of the episodes that we've seen. And so I definitely give this 3 royal sealing mantles. I feel like it's more of a 3.5, but it's just not at that 4. But definitely a solid episode, really good character moments. But I think with Darem, it was something that we already knew. With Genesis, this was something that was nice for her to finally open up about herself. So I'll kind of give it more of a 3.5. However, yesterday was my season 4 premiere of Crusher Convo, and I was talking about Discovery. I had gotten a comment from Dave, one of my Patreon members, Dave Gregory. We love you. And I thought his comment was for Discovery. Apparently, it was for this episode. And so I'm going to let you know what he said. So Dave said, solid episode with some world building and character relationship development. It had heart. Very true. Absolutely. Especially between Caleb and Genesis. And really between Jaden and also Darem. Can I just say Kyle is absolutely adorable. I loved him, especially at the hint. He's all sunburned, but he's so excited to see Jaden. Gives him a kiss on the cheek. It was so cute. Darem, I'm not really sure if he's just being an asshole because Kyle is part of the War College or because he's part of the War College and he has feelings for Jaden. I'm not sure where this is leading. I know a lot of people are like, oh, there's going to be this triangle. I'm not 100% sure, but maybe there is because they are building this relationship with Kyle and Jaden that we're like, oh, they're so cute. And then maybe Jaden has to decide at the end. I don't know. Maybe Kyle's going to die. Man, that's going to suck. I just realized that. But let's not jump ahead of ourselves. But I feel like I'm just not sure where this is leading when it comes to these three. But Darren being an asshole to Kyle, I mean, even Jaden called him out. He's like, asshole, let's just get out of here, which is great. But I think the Kyle and Jaden scenes, as little as we got, was absolutely adorable. All right, guys, so those are my thoughts of episode 7, Ko-Zeine. Let me know in the comments below of what you thought of this episode. Please like this video, and if you have not yet, please subscribe. I'm really trying to get to those 1,000 subscribers so I can do my giveaway of my Gates McFadden autograph. And if you have not yet, also follow me on Instagram so I could also get to 1,000 followers so I can start doing lives again. Share my content. Hope you're going to be enjoying my season 4. Got a lot of cool things coming up. Again, guys, love Academy. Hope you do too. And as always, live long and prosper.
Crusher out.